Shalom, my name is Michael Decker, and I'm a lawyer within the law offices of Cohen, Decker, Pex, and Brosh. Today I wanted to discuss the matter of restitution of assets which were purchased by Holocaust victims before the Holocaust began by Jews that were living mainly in Europe. During that time, there were many European Jews that started investing in Palestine at the time. Some of them did it because they saw the future and understood that it's wiser to also invest in Palestine, and perhaps they even had plans to move at the time to Palestine. Unfortunately, many of these Jews that purchased property in Palestine at the time were victims of the Holocaust and were basically murdered and killed by the Nazis. Many of them left, however, heirs, and many of these heirs are not aware of the fact that they have an inheritance, that they can inherit because of these properties that were purchased by these Holocaust victims. I would like to share an example of a case that I handled, just so you can have an understanding of how this process works. I basically represented a lady. She was from Canada. She was the daughter of a woman that was married to a Jew in Czechoslovakia. And this Jew, together with his brother, they purchased property near Hadera in Israel. Property that today is valued at quite a high value. And this person was taken by the Nazis to a concentration camp. And in the concentration camp, he basically created what's called a verbal will, because that was all he was able to do. So he basically explained to his friend that if anything happens to him, he would like his wife to inherit him fully. Unfortunately, he passed away in the concentration camp, and his friend that survived the Holocaust after World War II went to a court in Prague and basically explained to the judge and declared the verbal will that was presented before him in the concentration camp. Verdict was issued, basically, ruling that the wife of this person inherits all his assets. The wife, however, did not even know that her husband purchased property in Hadera in Israel. She ended up migrating to Canada, getting married, and starting a new life. And her children eventually, after searching and investigating, found out that the husband of their mother, the first husband, purchased property in Hadera. They contacted us, and we did our inquiries, and we found out that this is indeed true. And what happens is that the custodian in Israel, after 1948, basically took over all abandoned property. And a lot of this property, or some of the property at least that was abandoned, belonged to Holocaust victims that purchased these properties. So the state of Israel created a list of all these properties that were owned by Holocaust victims, and even a special company was established in order to locate the heirs all around the world and in Israel of these Holocaust victims. This company was actually supposed to use the money that the state of Israel is holding in order to try to locate these heirs. In any case, we located the property, and after quite a long legal proceeding, we eventually were able to help our clients get over $1 million from the state of Israel, which is the value that the property was sold for at the time when the state of Israel sold the property. Today, it's actually valued at much more. In any case, this is how the procedure more or less works. And if you're watching this and you think you may be an heir, you need to just know that the custodian has a list of all these Holocaust victims, and we would be happy to check if you're a descendant of one of these Holocaust victims on this list. And in any case, you can feel free to contact us if you have any questions or clarifications on the matter. Thank you very much for your time.